Welcome to the HFY Tales channel. Remember to like and subscribe if you like the story. Enjoy and take care.
The sun dipped below the skyline, casting a warm orange glow on the crumbling concrete and shimmering glass of the apartment complex. It was an unusual sight, an amalgam of cultures thanks to the integration of humans and various alien species. The air buzzed with a symphony of languages, laughter, and sounds, creating a vibrant yet chaotic harmony. Samuel Wells, a 26-year-old human fresh out of college, stepped into the lobby with a sense of trepidation mixed with excitement. He had traded a monotonous life in the suburbs for this bustling metropolis, where anything seemed possible. It wasn't just the allure of the city. It was the promise of diversity, and above all, the chance to experience life in all its myriad forms. He approached the reception desk, fiddling with the keys in his pocket. The warm smile from Yara, the receptionist, was welcoming. "Welcome to the Crescent Towers, Samuel. You're going to love living here," she said, her bright blue skin sparkling in the light. "Just don't mind the noise on the upper floors. Mating season can get a little lively." Samuel chuckled, trying to mask his curiosity. Mating season? For whom? Yara winked, pointing toward the elevator. "Take a guess. The apartments on the 10th and 11th floors are where most of our alien residents live, specifically the Xylorians. You'll know when you meet one." With his interest piqued, Samuel thanked her and headed for the elevator. As he ascended to the 11th floor, the walls pulsed with vibrant artworks that showcased interstellar life, each piece telling a story of love, struggle, and coexistence. Stepping off the elevator, he was greeted by a strikingly unique door, its surface shimmering in hues of green and purple, adorned with symbols he didn't recognize. This was it, his new home. He unlocked the door and stepped inside, taking in the modest but cozy space. The faint glow of the wall panels illuminated the room, infused with the earthy scent of alien flora. For a moment, he felt overwhelmed. This was a giant leap from his quiet existence. As he unpacked, a sudden sound and ethereal chime echoed through the hallway, followed by a series of light knocks on the adjoining wall. Startled, Samuel paused, unsure if he had imagined it or if it was really happening. He had read about the Xylorians. They were alluring, with intricate features and a mating ritual that was uncommon in human culture. Samuel was pulled from his thoughts when the door across the hall opened with a soft hiss. There she was, Lyra. She stood tall and elegant, her skin shimmering under the soft lights, projecting a spectrum of colors that danced with her mood. Large, almond-shaped eyes, iridescent like polished obsidian, locked onto his with an intensity that made his breath hitch. "Hello, I'm Lyra," she said, her voice melodic and warm as she stepped into the light. "Welcome to the complex. You must be my new neighbor." "Ah, yeah, I'm Samuel." He managed a nervous smile and reached to shake her hand, only to be met with something entirely unexpected. She extended a delicate, bioluminescent tendril from her wrist, wrapping it gently around his fingers, sending an exquisite shiver down his spine. "Pleasure to meet you," he stuttered, pulling his hand back as she released him. "You'll find that mating season is a bit different here," she said, glancing toward her apartment before stepping closer. "It can get noisy. Just a warning." "Yeah, I went through some of the materials they gave me. I've heard some things." Samuel felt a rush of warmth as their eyes locked, and the underlying tension began to stir, a profound curiosity layered with unexplored attraction. "Perhaps we can help each other through it," Lyra suggested, a playful smile revealing a hint of sharp teeth. "You seem like somebody who appreciates new experiences." "Absolutely," he replied, his heart racing. "What do you have in mind?" Lyra's gaze deepened, and he could almost sense the weight of ancient instincts behind her words. "If the noises bother you, I can show you some ways to cope, but I can also show you the beauty of it. You know, cultural exchange and all." Samuel was caught off guard, excitement intertwining with a nervous flutter in his stomach. "Sounds interesting." "Good," she said, tilting her head with a curious spark in her eyes. "You see, when Xylorians enter mating season, we become intense, focused on connection. It can be overwhelming, but it can also be—" A loud yowl echoed from within her apartment, strange and beautiful, permeating through the air. She paused, glancing back with a mixture of amusement and urgency. "See, that's my mother. I should check on her," Lyra said, stepping back to her door. "But let's talk later. There's so much more to discuss." With that, she slipped into her apartment, leaving Samuel standing in the hallway with a mix of bewilderment and intrigue. He hadn't anticipated that moving here would lead to such a close encounter, much less one with an alluring alien. As he closed his door, his mind swirled with possibilities and a sense of adventure. Samuel took a deep breath, the taste of the unknown igniting something within him. The following days turned into a whirlwind of activity in the apartment complex. Samuel found himself drawn to the vibrant life around him. He often heard Lyra's melodic laughter echoing through the halls, and the peculiar, yet captivating, sounds of her species resonating from her apartment. Curiosity bubbled within him, igniting a desire to learn more. One evening after work, Samuel stood at the threshold of his door, feeling the weight of another strange noise permeate the air, an almost echoing trill that reminded him of a siren's call. It was unmistakably delightful, yet it sent shivers down his spine. With a newfound determination, he decided to knock on Lyra's door. "Hey, it's me, Samuel," he called out, unsure if she could hear him over the din. The door opened a crack, and Lyra peeked out, her eyes sparkling like galaxies. "Samuel, perfect timing. I was just about to invite you in for a cultural lesson." Before he could respond, she ushered him inside, her shimmering presence lighting up the dim room. The walls were adorned with bioluminescent art, depicting scenes of Xylorian rituals and celebrations. The mesmerizing dance of colors felt alive, synced with the undulating rhythms of their conversations. Samuel stepped carefully inside. "Wow, your place is incredible." "Thank you. It reflects our way of living. It might seem chaotic, but it represents life in all its forms." She flashed a smile, gesturing toward a cluster of vibrant plants thrumming with energy. "These are influencing the mating season pheromones in the air. They help boost the emotional atmosphere." "Pheromones?" Samuel echoed, intrigued. "You mean the scents I've noticed?" "Exactly. Each person and each plant contributes to a unique bouquet, which fosters connection. It can be overwhelmingly intoxicating, drawing us together." "Right," he said slowly, digesting the information. "So when you mentioned needing help through mating season earlier, do you mean that's what motivates the noise?" Lyra's expression turned serious. "Yes. When Xylorians engage in mating rituals, it's like an energy crescendo. It symbolizes the call to find a mate, to connect, to bond. It may overwhelm the senses, but it also heightens emotions." Samuel felt a rush of warmth at her words. She was speaking about connection in a way that struck deep within him. "I can certainly see how that could be overwhelming," he teased lightly. Lyra chuckled softly. "For humanity, it's different. You're more restrained emotionally. That's why it's fascinating to experience our rituals firsthand." "Are you saying I should participate?" he asked, his heart racing with a mix of thrill and intimidation. "Only if you want to, but I'd love to share this experience with you. Communication is vital, and sharing each other's cultures creates stronger bonds," she replied, her eyes locking onto his with an intensity that made his breath itch once again. Before Samuel could react, the door swung open wider, revealing the heart of the Xylorian home. The room was alive with colors and fragrances, swirling together in a tapestry of sensations. It felt both strangely alien and inviting. "Here," she said, motioning him toward a low table adorned with sparkling fruit and shimmering liquids. "Try some traditional Xylorian sweets. They heighten awareness, perfect for understanding our mating dynamics." Samuel picked up a brightly colored fruit and took an experimental bite. Instantly, a wave of flavors exploded in his mouth, sweet, tangy, and somehow electric, setting his senses ablaze. "Wow, that's amazing," he exclaimed, savoring the taste. Lyra laughed, clearly pleased by his reaction. "I knew you would appreciate it. Each bite opens pathways in the mind, triggering instincts you may not even know exist." "Is that how the mating rituals work? By amplifying emotions and instincts?" Samuel asked, captivated by her explanations. Precisely, she exclaimed, her excitement palpable. The more we indulge in this culture, the closer we draw to the essence of our beings. Mating isn't just physical, it's a unification of spirits, energies, and minds. Would you like to experience a small piece of the ritual? Sure. Samuel felt a nervous thrill course through him. What would I need to do? Lyra's expression grew serious, yet inviting. You must be open to it. Close your eyes and feel. Breathe in the scents. Let them envelop you. Focus on the vibrations they create within you. As he followed her instructions, he closed his eyes and inhaled deeply. The atmosphere shifted, scents mixed and swirled, sending sensations racing through him. For a brief moment, he felt a connection, a shared essence that stretched beyond words. When he opened his eyes, Lyra bore an expression of awe, her busy emotions reflected in her eyes. You have a unique energy, Samuel. It flows differently than mine, yet beautifully complementary. You can feel that too, can't you? I think I do, he murmured, heart pounding. He considered how easy it would be to draw closer. Yet, before he could express his thoughts, a sudden loud commotion echoed through the hall. A neighboring resident, a boisterous alien with multiple eyes and a broad frame, burst into their space unwelcome, demanding attention and interrupting the serene atmosphere. Lyra, we need your help now. The competition is about to start. As chaos unfolded, Samuel felt a pang of disappointment. The connection they'd just begun to forge was interrupted, but he could feel the electric, lingering tension in the air. Lyra turned back to him and offered a warm, apologetic smile. We'll continue this. I promise, she said, a fierce determination in her eyes as she turned to face the disturbance. Samuel nodded, thankful for her promise, but also regretting the interrupted moment. Maybe he'd have to find a way to delve deeper into this alien culture, and maybe, if the stars aligned, share more than just cultural insights with Lyra. As he made his way back to his apartment, his heart raced with excitement and lingering anticipation. This was just the beginning of something profoundly different, and he couldn't deny the exhilaration that coursed through him. As days drifted into nights, lights flickered across the complex, echoing the palpable energy in the air. The mating season had kicked into high gear, transforming the apartment building into a living tapestry of exuberant emotions and intricate cultural dances. Sounds of laughter and wild calls reverberated through the hallways, a vivid reminder of the vibrant life surrounding Samuel. Despite the chaos, Samuel embraced the whirlwind. With each passing day, he and Lyra found themselves wrapped in deeper conversations, exchanged moments, and perhaps unwittingly feelings. Yet, the air tingled with unspoken tension, growing thicker between them, begging for resolution. One evening, Samuel decided to gather his courage. He texted Lyra, asking if she would join him for a calm dinner. To his delight, she replied almost instantly, "Would love to. Let's make it special." He hurried to prepare, knowing that this evening meant more than just a shared meal. He wanted to bridge the gap between their worlds. The aroma of sizzling spices wafted through his apartment when he heard a gentle knock at the door. "Samuel, it smells incredible." Lyra greeted him, her voice lit with enthusiasm as she stepped into his warmly lit apartment. She wore an elegant, flowing garment that shimmered with colors, mirroring the art from her home. "Just something simple. I wanted to show you a bit of my world too," he replied with a nervous grin, motioning her to take a seat at the modest dining table. As they began to eat, Samuel watched her closely. Lyra savored every bite, her expressions an electrifying mix of delight and curiosity. "This is amazing. How do you humans live without these flavors?" she exclaimed, her eyes wide with wonder. "It's all I've known, I guess. But it feels good to share it with you. I wanted to talk about life in the complex and how we can learn from each other during this season," he suggested, taking a sip of the sweet drink he had prepared, feeling the heat of her gaze. Lyra leaned in, her voice lower but intense. "I think there's something beautiful about blending our cultures. On my planet, we practice intimacy through sharing experiences, emotionally and physically. Mating rituals are sacred and involve the ones we trust most." Samuel swallowed hard, feeling the weight of her words. "So, mating for your people means more than just physical connection?" Absolutely. It's a convergence of bodies, souls, and energies, she explained, her gaze piercing through him. For us, it's also about vulnerability, letting the other person in and embracing that bond. Feeling emboldened, Samuel asked, "What does that look like? How does it feel?" "Oh, it's an exhilarating experience. Every sense heightened. The scent, the sounds, the very air between us crackles with energy," she replied, her words almost hypnotic. It's about losing oneself only to find a new, unified self. As the conversation deepened, Samuel felt both excitement and apprehension. He could see the beauty in what she described, but he also feared the risks of diving into the uncharted waters of interspecies relationships. "Tell me more," he urged, leaning closer. "I want to understand what it means to honor a bond like that. How do we navigate our differences?" Lyra smiled, her eyes sparkling, and took a deep breath, as if steadying herself. "It's about embracing what makes us unique while finding common ground, feeling comfortable enough to share our vulnerabilities. But in mating season, instincts take over, it can blur lines, and it makes relationships more intense." Samuel's heart raced. He was fascinated yet overwhelmed. "And what if I can't keep up?" "Just be honest with yourself. Openness is fundamental, Samuel. It's not just about the physical. Sometimes simply being together, listening, is enough to feel that connection," Lyra reassured him. Just as their conversation reached this intimate moment, they heard a raucous cheer erupt from the hallway. Instinctively, Lyra tensed, her demeanor shifting as she realized the raucous sounds came from increased mating rituals among other residents, an event that may or may not include some rowdy competitions to woo potential mates. "They're at it again," she grinned brightly, her competitive spirit igniting. "I've been sharing it with you, but it's time you experience firsthand what this season is like." "What do you mean?" Samuel asked, both intrigued and apprehensive. "Let's go see. You must witness the fervor. It's overwhelming yet exhilarating," she insisted, excitement shimmering in her eyes. Samuel hesitated for only a moment, caught between the safety of his apartment and the thrill of the opportunity before him. It wasn't every day a human got an insider's glimpse into Xylorian culture. "Okay, let's do it," he surrendered, enthusiasm coursing through his veins as they entered the chaotic hallway together. As they stepped out, a different world rushed toward him. The atmosphere pulsed with raw energy. Aliens danced, their bodies moving fluidly as they laughed and carried on, the air thick with intoxicating scents. Colors flickered as decorations danced to the vibrant rhythms of the ongoing mating season celebrations. Lyra took his hand, leading him into the vibrant crowd. Samuel could feel his heart race as the cacophony enveloped him. The experience was more freeing and alive than he could ever have imagined. "Welcome to the celebration," Lyra shouted over the music, pulling Samuel into the vibrant throng of dancing bodies. He couldn't help but smile in sheer wonder, absorbing the joyous spectacle. As they swayed together, a wave of energy flowed between them, electrifying the atmosphere. Samuel felt the world fading away. The glaring differences melted into a shared heartbeat, resonating together in a manner he couldn't fully understand, but one that felt utterly right. With each passing moment, he lost himself in the energy of the crowd, captivated not only by the festivities surrounding him, but also by the intriguing alien woman by his side. As the night wore on, Samuel caught glimpses of strange, yet beautiful mating rituals unfolding before him, each telling the story of connection and longing. Laughter bubbled around them, igniting a wild spark, and for the first time, he truly allowed himself to feel the pull of something beyond his understanding. In that frenetic moment, all he could see was the pulse of life, the resonance of their two species, and the potent bond forming between him and Lyra. The atmosphere surged with energy as the sounds of music filled the air. Samuel felt an intoxicating thrill as he and Lyra danced among the pulsating crowd. Every swirl of color, every beat of the rhythm made him dizzy with excitement, as if the very essence of the mating season was wrapping around him like a warm embrace. "Are you ready to see how serious the competition can get?" Lyra shouted over the music, her eyes shining with mischief. "Competition?" Samuel raised an eyebrow. curious, yet slightly apprehensive. Yes, it's all in good fun, but it can become quite intense, she replied, leading him through the throng. It's a way for Xylorians to showcase their prowess, charm, and affinity for connection. As Lyra pulled him deeper into the gathering, Samuel began to catch snippets of conversations, mixed with laughter and excited chatter, obscured by the vibrant beats of music. Groups of Xylorians were gathered in circles, preparing for what appeared to be a contest of displays, a showcase of abilities to woo potential mates. "Watch this," Lyra exclaimed, ushering him to the front row as a pair of Xylorians stepped into a makeshift arena in the center of the gathering. The crowd roared with approval. The first contestant, a lithe Xylorian adorned with dazzling markings, began to sway and spin, injected with a blend of enticing movements and flirtatious gestures designed to tempt potential mates. Bright ribbons danced around her, shimmering in the low light as she showcased her agility and seductive grace. Samuel felt himself get swept away by the performance, fascinated by the display of energy and warmth radiating from the contestants. He glanced at Lyra, who watched the scene with pride and exhilaration. "Impressive, right?" she said, her smile wide. "It's all about connecting with the audience, making them feel something special." As the performance ended, the crowd erupted into boisterous applause, cheers ringing through the air. The competitor turned to bow, soaking in the admiration like a sunbeam. Before Samuel could respond, another couple stepped forward to perform. This time, a larger, more powerful Xylorian showcased strength and dominance, roaring rhythmic chants while executing elaborate moves that showcased physical prowess and confidence. Each entry has a unique approach. Some appeal through finesse, while others rely on strength or humor, Lyra explained, her excitement sparking a sense of communal joy. "It's all about attracting attention." Samuel's admiration grew, realizing that the bond between souls extended well beyond mere attraction. It was about celebrating individuality through connection. With each act, he noticed how skills intertwined with personality, creating a rich tapestry of emotional expression. Minutes dwindled into hours, and the competition took on more elaborate forms: dance-offs, humor displays, and even storytelling, immersing all in laughter and unity. "I can't believe how liberating this is," Samuel exclaimed, feeling invigorated. The energy of the crowd, combined with the rhythmic voices, lyrics, and sights, drew him deeper and deeper into the spectacle. As competitors continued to showcase their talents, Samuel's attention turned to the warm press of Lyra beside him. He noticed her expressions shifting between amusement and admiration as another contestant performed. A sense of protectiveness surged within him. The thought of her being swept away in the allure of the competition made his heart race. "Do you ever think about competing?" he asked, stealing a glance at her. "Oh, I have, but I'm not sure if it's my style," Lyra admitted, biting her lip playfully. "I prefer connecting with individuals over the crowd. Though, sometimes I just want to jump in and showcase my spirit." Just then, amidst a flurry of soft thunks emanating from across the room, Lyra's gaze sharpened as a challenge began to stir. A group of onlookers hollered excitedly, and Samuel turned to see what was unfolding. A new challenger stepped forward, a strikingly handsome Xylorian, with a look of determination in his eyes. "They call him Kavrik. He's one of the finest competitors we have," Lyra murmured, her voice laced with a mixture of admiration and unexpected tension. Samuel noticed a strange flicker of something in her eyes, but didn't have time to process it before the crowd erupted once more. Kavrik began showcasing impressive acrobatics and captivating moves. There was a magnetic quality to his performance that drew cheers and chants from both men and women alike. "Look at him go," Samuel remarked, feeling a flicker of jealousy at the way Lyra observed the performance with rapt attention. Lyra chuckled, noticing his slight irritation. "He's skilled, but it's not just skill that creates a connection. It's about resonance. You share that too, you know. But right now, it feels like I'm competing with him," he countered, his heart pounding. "Don't think of it as a competition. This is about sharing joy. But there's nothing wrong with acknowledging attraction either." Her voice was soothing yet honest, bridging the gap of uncertainty between them. The night continued, and each contestant showcased their talents, weaving stories of love, longing, and connection. It became an emotional roller coaster, and Samuel found himself lost in the ecstasy of the moment. And then, in a sudden twist, Kaverick turned his performance into a duet, inviting Lyra onto the stage to join him. The crowd erupted into enthusiastic applause, urging her to take the spotlight. "Lyra, you should go," Samuel urged, though uncertainty flickered within him. "Only if you come with me. This isn't just about me," she countered firmly, her radiant smile igniting his confidence. With a jolt of excitement, Samuel nodded, feeling both exhilarated and terrified. Together, they stepped into the center of the arena, under the shimmering glow of colorful lights. The atmosphere buzzed, and the crowd cheered them on. As the rhythmic beat pulsed, they began to move together instinctively. The music enveloped them, and Samuel felt the tether of emotions drawing them closer as they intertwined their movements, blending human grace with the fluidity of Xylorian dancing. Laughter and joy enveloped the audience, creating a breathtaking bond of music and energies. Samuel momentarily forgot about competition. It was just him and Lyra in that moment, lost in a dance of connection and shared experience. Under the bright lights, with the crowd cheering, Samuel felt a rush of warmth and courage bloom within him. It was at that very moment he fully embraced the beauty of their differences, learning to celebrate their connection rather than compare themselves against one another. They moved together, a synchronized display of joy and laughter that illuminated the arena. It was a connection more profound than any individual competition, a promise of what the future might hold for the two of them. As the final notes played and the crowd erupted into laughter and frenzied applause, Samuel and Lyra shared a gaze. In that moment, everything had transformed, and he knew they had crossed a threshold deeper than he had ever anticipated. Their worlds were colliding, and they were ready to embrace it together. The crowd continued to cheer as Samuel and Lyra caught their breath, basking in the vibrancy they had just created together. Laughter erupted around them, and it felt electric, an amalgamation of joy, acceptance, and something deeper building between them. Lyra flashed a triumphant smile, her iridescent skin shimmering under the celebratory lights. "I can't believe we just did that," she exclaimed, her excitement contagious. "Neither can I." Samuel laughed, still feeling the adrenaline coursing through him. "That was incredible. You're an amazing dancer. And you move like a true Xylorian out there," Lyra replied, her eyes twinkling. "You don't give yourself enough credit." As the other contestants made their bows, Samuel noticed the lingering sparks in Lyra's gaze when Kaverick and the crowd cheered for them. They exchanged congratulations, but the short glances between Kaverick and Lyra stirred an unexpected reaction within him. "What's next?" Samuel asked, trying to hide the sudden pang of jealousy. Lyra looked thoughtful, her voice soft. "The next part of the celebration is to create bonds beyond the dance. It's about sharing stories and connecting through our experiences. Would you like to join me?" "Sure, I'm all in," he answered readily, eager to learn more about this fascinating culture and the deeper connections waiting to be forged. Together, they wove their way through the crowd, feeling the warmth of shared energy with each step. There was a palpable excitement in the air, and Samuel could sense each person was eager for meaningful connections to form as the night wore on. They reached a circle of gathered individuals, the ambience becoming cozier. People began exchanging stories of relationships, love, and lessons learned. Lyra leaned into him as they settled down, her presence filling him with an inviting warmth. "Let's share some sweet secrets that brought us here," Lyra encouraged, raising her voice slightly. "I'll go first." Samuel listened closely as she spoke about her upbringing among the Xylorians, recounting tales of cultural traditions, the beauty of connection, and moments of vulnerability that ultimately shaped her identity. There was something heartfelt in her every word, pulling at the very core of his being. The crowd buzzed with encouragement, chiming in with their own stories, intricately woven tapestries of emotions and experiences. Samuel was engrossed and felt more connected to this alien environment and its inhabitants than he could have imagined. As people shared their laughs and tears, he began to reflect on moments from his own life, some heartbreaks, joys, and trials. When it was finally his turn, he felt a rush of vulnerability flood through him as he recounted his story. The crowd listened intently, and he felt an underlying connection enveloping him as he spoke. "I was always searching for connection but feared it," Samuel shared, his voice steady. "I've seen friendships come and go, and I guess I never thought I could experience something this profound until now." Lyra's eyes softened, urging him to go on. "And then you found yourself in this place, surrounded by us." "Exactly. It's surreal." He met her gaze. "I didn't expect to feel such strong emotions in this wild mix of cultures, but here I am, captivated by it all and by you." A collective sigh swept through the circle as their moment hung in the air, and Samuel could feel that familiar tension returning, only this time igniting an undeniable connection. "That's the beauty of connection," Lyra said, her voice gentle yet firm. "It thrives on openness and understanding. I see those traits in you already." Samuel felt raw emotions churning within him, each word a step closer to revealing more of what he felt. "And I want to explore this connection we have, beyond just sharing stories." As they shared knowing glances, others in the circle continued to contribute their experiences, but Samuel's focus was honed in on Lyra. With every heartbeat and every breath, everything around him faded, but her. "I think we should take this moment further," she said, her voice dropping softer, almost a whisper. "Would you agree?" With a boldness that surprised him. He nodded. "I want to." As they exchanged smiles, her expression shifted, becoming serious, as all eyes turned to them, intrigued, supportive, and eager to witness this next step in their journey. Lyra took a breath, standing tall with resolute elegance. "For our next segment, let's share not just words but touch. It's an essential part of creating unity, something that ties us to the very core of our beings." Samuel's heart raced. Would they be able to embrace the physical connection entwined in the emotional depths they'd begun to explore? The crowd surged with excitement at the idea, urging them on. "Are you ready?" Her voice rang with bravery, radiating confidence. "I am," Samuel replied, the determination coursing through him, a willing participant in this journey of discovery. With a collective cheer, they stepped into the center of the circle, visibly drawing energy from those surrounding them. Lyra reached out her hand, and okay, Samuel grasped her fingers, feeling the ethereal warmth radiate between them like a small spark igniting a flame. The crowd began a rhythmic chant, encouraging the display. Lyra guided him gently in a circle, their bodies moving in sync as they transitioned into a soft, sensual exploration of connection. He felt layers of uncertainty peel away, unveiling something raw and genuine. As they moved together, he felt warmth thrum in time with their rhythmic steps, flowing energy buzzing between them, manifesting an intimacy cloaked in celebration and exploration. The crowd became a vibrant backdrop, amplifying their connection as they began to sway closer still. "Trust me," Lyra whispered, her breath brushing against his skin, sending a bolt of exhilaration through him. With a shared understanding in the air, they began to exchange tactile affection, gentle caresses and soft touches that began sparking a tangible bond between their souls. Each movement, every exchange of warmth, brought them deeper into a world of vulnerability, connection, and shared energy that could transcend boundaries. Samuel felt alive with sensations that were new to him. The rush of intimacy ignited his heart, and with each touch, he discovered layers of himself he had never explored before, lessons of trust, acceptance, and emotional exposure. Through shared laughter and approving cheers from the crowd, he surrendered to the moment. Together, they embraced their differences, weaving a rich tapestry of delight that extended far beyond society's boundaries. In that profound moment of shared vulnerability, Samuel realized that he had not only danced across the surface of connection, but had also begun to dive into its depths. And looking into Lyra's eyes, bruised sunset hues reflecting back at him, he felt an understanding that resonated louder than words ever could. In that crowded arena alive with shared experiences, he could hear the unspoken promise of a journey that awaited them, one embedded in the beauty of their hearts intertwined, forever marked by the unforgettable embrace of their cultures. As the night continued to pulse with life around them, Samuel knew this connection was only the beginning. As the celebration continued, Samuel and Lyra remained enveloped in each other's warmth, their connection transcending the initial thrill of competition. They laughed, shared whispered secrets, and explored new sensations, surrounded by their supportive community of residents. The night wore on, and the energy in the room transformed from exuberant celebrations to a more intimate atmosphere. The frenzy of mating dances gave way to quieter moments, where couples nestled close, exchanging tender gestures and affectionate touches. Lyra took Samuel's hand and led him to a quieter corner of the arena, away from the jubilant chaos. "I didn't expect this evening to turn into something so beautiful," she said softly, studying his face with an intensity that made his heart flutter. "Me neither," he admitted, enchanted by the warmth radiating from her. "But I've never felt so alive. You opened my heart to a world I never knew existed." She smiled, a genuine glow illuminating her features. "That's the magic of connections. It compels us to explore, to embrace, and to grow beyond our perceived limits. What we've shared tonight, it's not just for fun. It's a promise of what lies ahead." As she spoke, Samuel realized just how deeply he felt for her. The experience of the mating season had brought them together, but it was the raw honesty of their emotions that would keep them united. "Lyra, I want to continue exploring this connection, not just tonight, but as long as you'll have me." A flicker of surprise danced in her eyes, followed by a soft smile. "You don't even know the half of it. The true beauty will reveal itself in time, as we learn from each other and navigate our unpredictable worlds." Encouraged, Samuel took a step closer, brushing his fingers along her arm, feeling the warmth radiating from her skin. "Let's do it together," he declared, the sincerity spilling from his heart. "Let's find ways to learn and grow, to embrace whatever the future holds." Lyra gazed into his eyes, her expression profound yet bright. "Together, we can bridge our worlds. I'll introduce you to traditions I hold dear, and you can share yours with me. We can create our narrative, a story woven from both our cultures." As if on cue, a burst of laughter erupted nearby, drawing their attention back to the gathering, now surrounded by couples intertwining in tender embraces. The connection Samuel felt in that moment was palpable, a reminder of the importance of community in nurturing bonds that defy norms. "Let's join them," Lyra suggested, a spark of mischief glimmering in her eyes. Together, they stepped into the circle, hand in hand. With every shared dance, every story exchanged, and every touch, they forged their path, a cosmic love story blossoming amidst the vibrancy of their combined lives. As the night turned into dawn, Samuel realized this was not just an intersection of two souls, but a beautiful union of worlds. There would undoubtedly be challenges they would face, cultural misunderstandings, and moments of vulnerability. But with open hearts and mutual respect, they were ready to embrace whatever came their way. In that moment of connection, Samuel felt undeniably at peace. He was no longer just a human. He was part of something greater, something wonderful. Their laughter blended seamlessly with the intoxicating sounds of the mating season as they wove through the crowd, hearts bound in a promise of love that would ripple through time and space. Together, they stepped into the unknown, a cosmic partnership uniquely theirs, marked forever not by the labels of their species, but by the profound connection they had forged in the heart of diversity. And so, in the ever-expanding tapestry of the universe, a new chapter began, one filled with love, acceptance, and the beauty of shared experiences.